sedikit perdebatan, keributan di sebagian tempat, sampai ada kasus di sebagian negara ya, tentang adanya sertifikasi kiblat. Ternyata setelah diperiksa kiblatnya agak miring dikit, harus diluruskan sehingga ribut. Ada yang bilang nggak usah dilurus-luruskan lagi, kita dulu nenek moyang begini. Ada yang mengatakan nenek moyang biarin aja, sekarang yang cucu-cucu harus dirubah ya. Ya. Terus bagaimana salat nenek moyang kita? Dulu salah semua. Ya. Ada yang kenceng, kalau tidak dirubah nanti enggak menghadap kiblat loh, enggak menghadap Ka'bah. Kalau antum bertahan dengan miring-miring nanti menghadap kuburan Firaun. Ya, ada yang begitu ya. Jadi agak kenceng-kencengan masalah itu. Sebenarnya sertifikasi kiblat itu bagus, tapi tidak harus, tidak harus. Jadi kondisi orang yang salat ada dua ya. Yang pertama, dia melihat Ka'bah. Yang kedua, dia tidak melihat Ka'bah. Adapun kalau dia melihat Ka'bah, maka ijma harus menghadap zat Ka'bah. Ya, Ka'bah, maka jangan dia sholat berdiri Ka'bahnya di situ. Ya. Maka dia harus menghadap zat Ka'bah. Terutama imamnya. Dahulu disebutkan dalam sejarah, disebutkan oleh Al-Azruqi, ya, dulu Ka'bah tes. Nggak kena anunya. Jadi imamnya menghadap sini, ini imam. Dahulu awal-awal orang jumlah masih sedikit, makmumnya begini, lurus. Makmumnya begini. Putar, tidak memutar Ka'bah. Itu awal-awal orang salat di Ka'bah seperti itu. Jadi mereka berkumpul pada satu sisi, imamnya yang menghadap Ka'bah, makmumnya apa? Lurus. Kemudian datang di masa khalifah, seseorang saya lupa namanya siapa, disebutkan. Akhirnya berubah. Setelah itu berubah. Iya. Akhirnya ini imam, makmumnya keliling, mutar. Seperti itu ya. Jadi pada keliling akhirnya, mengeliling Ka'bah. Kenapa? Karena perintah Allah tatkala salat harus menghadap apa? Ka'bah ya. Jadi sampai sekarang orang-orang kalau salat begitu mutar mengelilingi apa? Ka'bah, karena jumlah sudah sangat banyak ya. Namun bagaimana dengan orang yang tidak melihat Ka'bah? Maka yang tidak melihat Ka'bah ada khilaf ya. Pendapat pertama, menghadap zat Ka'bah. Pendapat kedua, menghadap arah Ka'bah. Sehingga tidak harus tepat. Miring-miring sedikit tidak apa-apa. Paham? Bisa dibedakan? Jadi kalau pendapat pertama lihat Ka'bah ya harus lihat hadap apa? Ka'bah. Tapi kalau tidak lihat Ka'bah seperti kita sekarang, kita lihat Ka'bah enggak? Kita enggak tahu. Sekarang kita sholat menghadap sana ke arah barat. Apakah persis kena Ka'bah kita enggak tahu, tapi Ka'bah kita tahu arah sebelah sana. Miring dikit kita enggak tahu, enggak kelihatan. Hanya kira-kira ya. Nah, di sini ada khilaf. Pendapat pertama mengatakan harus berusaha menghadap zat Ka'bah harus.
But here's the problem. If you don't have Mecca in the right place, then what are you going to do with the kiblat? See, the kiblat is the direction of prayer. Every Muslim knows exactly where to pray every day, 5 times a day. Doesn't matter where they are in the world, they always pray towards Mecca. Am I correct on that? The kiblat is sacrosanct. Every mosque you go into, you'll see a mihrab. It's designed, it is pointing towards Mecca. I was on the airplane there with Malaysian Airlines before it got shot down. And as we were flying across the waters, you could see on a television screen the kiblat change as we were moving. So any Muslim could get up off their seat and do the prayer at any time in the right direction. So that's why the kiblat is absolutely important, because we do know that the kiblat has always been directed towards Mecca since 624. According to the Quran, in Surah 2, Ayah 143, it says very clearly that the Qibla was pointed towards Mecca since 624. You want to find where Qibla is today, you can go and get these apps on your phone. That's my hotel room there in Kuala Lumpur, and there you can see where the Qibla was on my hotel room. Surah 2, 134, 43, 145 gives the direction of Qibla as Mecca. Now, back in 1905, Dr. Fehervadi and Dr. Creswell were actually going through that part of the world looking for the oldest mosques they could find and digging down to the original floor plans. They went to the Wasit Mosque and the Kufa Mosque, which is in today Iraq. And they went into the Fustat Mosque, which is just outside of Egypt, outside of Cairo in Egypt. When they dug down to the original floor plans of both the Wasit and the Kufa Mosque, they noticed the Qibla was facing straight west. It should have been facing south. When they went to Fustat, they noticed it was facing straight east. It should have been facing southeast. There's Wasit, there's Kufa, there's Fustat. They were all facing this way. They thought in 1905 that they were facing Jerusalem. They were wrong. They were off by 3 to 5 degrees. We can't blame them. That's pretty close. Nonetheless, why were they facing that direction? Well, Dr. Dan Gibson wanted to find this out. Now, he'd been living in the Arabian Peninsula. He'd been there for 20 years. His father was an archaeologist. His grandfather was an archaeologist. So he wanted to find out, what can we do with this Qibla? But he was there, learned the language, and he moved all over the Middle East and decided to take pictures from space using satellite technology onto the original Qiblas, because many of the mosques today have been destroyed and rebuilt many times. So he wanted to look to the original floor plans. By doing that, he needed to find where the original enclosures are. You can only do that from space. Look what he found. The Great Mosque in Guangzhou in China, built 630. Look where it's facing. It's facing Petra, not Mecca. The Humayma Mosque in Jordan, it's facing Petra, almost completely opposite from Mecca. The Great Mosque of Baalbek in Lebanon, it's facing Petra, not Mecca. The Great Mosque of Sana'a, now we're in Yemen. Look at the date, 705. Muhammad died in 632. The Qibla was canonized in 624. So now we're a good 75 years later. It's facing Petra, not Mecca. The Al-Aqsa Mosque, this is interesting because there you have the Al-Aqsa Mosque and there you have the Dome of the Rock. The entire citadel, including the Dome of the Rock, built in 691. The Al-Aqsa Mosque built in 709. All of them, the citadel, the Dome of the Rock, and Al-Aqsa Mosque are all facing Petra. And they're still facing Petra today. They're not facing Mecca. The Damascus Mosque built in 709, it's facing Petra, not Mecca. The Anjan Mosque in Lebanon in 714, look at the date now, it's facing Petra, not Mecca. The mosque in Umar Basra in Syria, 720, now we're almost 100 years later, it's facing Petra, not Mecca. As far away as Banbur, finally a mosque in Pakistan is finally facing Mecca in 727. That's the first mosque he could find that finally had the Qibla right. But then the very next year, he found one in Syria that was neither facing Petra or Mecca. They were a little confused there. Now, this is interesting. Here's the older mosque built in 700 in Amman in Jordan. It's facing Petra. That's built in 700. Look at this mosque here. This is built in 740. It's finally facing Mecca. What happened between 700 and 740? The new mosque is right. The old mosque is incorrect. Something happened between those years. We'll get to that. Back in 743 then, here's another mosque facing back to Petra again. So there's still not uniformity. Now, when he got to North Africa, the mosques were not facing Petra or Mecca. They were all completely confused in North Africa. Here's one in Tunisia. It's facing this direction. It's not facing Petra or Mecca. The same way here in Spain, it's facing here. It should be facing those directions. And the same way in Tunisia. Here's another one. The Qibla's this way. We're not sure yet why. They're completely confused in North Africa. Take a look at where all the Qiblas were facing. Every Qibla, uniformly, were facing Petra. They weren't off by any degrees. Didn't matter how far away they were, even as far as Guangzhou in China, they were all facing Petra. And he noticed that every mosque up until 725 were facing Petra. Between 725 and 822, 12% were facing Petra, 50% were facing Mecca, 38 were point parallel. It wasn't until 822 that all the mosques began to face Mecca. That's 200 years too late. Now, why haven't we been told this? You can see, this is the secret Muslims don't want us to know. Can you see the problems we're dealing with here? Why were they facing Petra? There's Petra right up here. Look and see what it is. It's the center of all the trade. It's the center of the Nabatean kingdom. The Nabatean, Petra is where the tombs and temples of the Nabateans were. The Nabateans are the people that give us Arabic. The Arabic script comes from the Nabatean script. The name Allah is a Nabatean god, Ilaha.